was in John chapter 19 and verse 30. Jesus hung on the cross, and as he hung up there, he said these words, "It is finished." And what he was saying is not that we won't have battles, and not that we won't have troubles, and not that we won't have worries, but what he said when it was finished, he had given us a promise that we all have a finally in our lives. And we are not my goodness, I feel him. We are not standing here as people who do not know the end result. We know the end result, and that is we will be victorious, and we will be healed, and we will be delivered. I dare somebody to give God a great praise. Everybody shout out the word finally. Finally is not something that I'm looking for in the future. It's something that God has already brought for me in my past. And so as I stand, when things are falling, bad family situations, bad finances, maybe bad health, and you're standing there and somebody says, "Don't you feel like crumbling?" And you say, "No, I have a finally. I have a final resolution." And some smart brain person will say, "But what if you die?" And you say, "But I have a finally." To be absent from this body is to be present in the Lord. I told somebody this one time. They said they was worried. They had some problems going on in their life, and they said, "What would happen if somebody when they was worried about violence?" And they said they were so worried about somebody doing harm to them. And I said, the worst thing that could happen in your life right now, if you die, it's not a loss at all. It's a victory because you're going to be with the Lord. But then I said, you won't die, you'll live because God's going to protect you. But we got to start thinking in this term, finally. We are not standing in a firm place wondering what our destination is going to be. Isn't it sad that when people die without the Lord and they're not standing on the rock of Jesus Christ, they don't know their finally. But we stand here knowing our final destination. So how can we stand when all else is falling? We can stand there because God has given us a finally. Finally, go to the next one, number 2. We can stand because we are a part of God's family. God uses the term, or Paul uses the term, my brethren. Now, brethren, is a family word, brothers and sisters. And I know that sometimes people look and we walk around. I had a meeting with some of our the letters that Kelly dictates for us, and I said, sometimes we got to watch that we don't get too lost in Christianese language. Every other word, brother and sister, because the world don't always understand that language. But so he was actually saying here, my brethren. And he was calling them, you don't call somebody brother that's not your family. And I've never seen this part of it before, that God was giving them a hope. That as he was talking about all the things that were going on around them, he's speaking to them and calling them family. And I begin to think about this, and I begin to think about our lives, and understanding that when things all around us is not going good, or even if there's some things, or even just a little things in our life that's going bad, I thought about it like this. Even when why do I stand when everything else is falling? Even when my life is a royal mess, I'm still a part of the royal family. Say that one more time. Even when my life is a royal mess, I'm standing because God has given me a promise that we are sons and we are daughters with God. Meaning this, that Christ has adopted me into the family. You're glad to be a part of that family. If you're having the family problems in your life, remember that God gives them a brother, meaning that we're a part